Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Haystack and Alibaba Cloud webinar. My name is Zaim, and I'm being accompanied by Edwin from Haystack and Badr from Alibaba Cloud. And today we'll be talking about different services and solutions that you can use, especially for cloud live migration and disaster recovery on Alibaba Cloud from any platform and from Alibaba Cloud to any cloud and to any platform using Haystack. Let me quickly share a small presentation, an introduction presentation with you, and we will begin our session formally. Our today's agenda is a fully automated migration and disaster recovery solution to Alibaba Cloud. And I'm being joined by Edwin Alexander Kuss from Haystack. He's head of global sales. And I'm being joined by Badr Behram, who's a cloud solution architect from Alibaba Cloud. And they will both talk about different services and different solutions that you can use to excel your journey onto Alibaba Cloud. Haystack offer live cloud migration solution from any to any cloud, from any to any disaster recovery situation or the cloud migration situation. It's a fully automated multi-cloud solution. And you can also have a cloud cost governance when you go and use it. Cross-cloud disaster recovery and cloud migration is becoming very important. It is the very first step when you think about a cloud. How will you migrate your workloads, your servers of your customers from on-premise to a cloud or from one cloud to another cloud? This is where Haystack comes in, and Edwin will explain that in detail. Alibaba offer a public cloud solution, and Alibaba is, by the way, globally recognized top 3 public cloud provider operating in different regions and different zones, having 43 plus availability zones and 18 plus data centers available all across. Especially there's a data center in the Middle East in Dubai, which is located here. Alibaba offer comprehensive cloud services from elastic compute services to blockchain to machine learning to object storage to e-commerce, apps, web hosting, and cloud security solutions, which Badr will explain in detail in a session. This is a great opportunity for channel partners to start their cloud journey. You can help your customers with disaster recovery and live cloud migration using Haystack onto Alibaba. The unique thing is it support any cloud and any platform. The teams, Edwin and Badr will explain that in more detail. You can do an easy migration to Alibaba Cloud and from Alibaba Cloud. You can do a DR into the Alibaba Cloud and DR to any other cloud from Alibaba Cloud if you're using the Alibaba Cloud as a system. It's a real-time cloud solution that you can utilize. You can manage multi-clouds. You can support the Haystack solution support all public clouds. There's a great margin for CSPs and MSPs to be made here using the solution. It's a very simple pricing by Haystack and a very simple pricing by Alibaba as well. The pricing of the Haystack license is based on per node and per VM based. You can talk to our team and we can give you the pricing in detail. You have a complete support from both of the vendors which are available. A white label option is also available for the partners who are interested in doing the white label services. There's a great promotion, which we will talk in detail as well on Alibaba and Haystack in this quarter till December end. You can get 25% discount on ECS services and on the SLB services when you migrate your workloads to Alibaba Cloud. And the same applies to Haystack as well, using the Haystack license. So let's begin the show, and I'm going to go and pass on the screen to Edwin to talk about Haystack in more detail. Edwin, over to you.
Thank you, Saim. So, hey, everyone, nice to meet you. Thanks for your time. It's an honor to present to you. And Saim, you always have the nicest view in the background, as always, Dubai skyline. And actually, what should I do? You explained everything perfectly. I think there's not too much I can add. But okay, just to fill the time, let me repeat some things. But really well done. So there's not too much to add. Let me just quickly share some more information about Haystack's and the opportunities you will have. It's not my part to make propaganda or advertisement for Alibaba, but let me tell you that we, as a global migration disaster recovery company located in US, we see a lot of traction in Middle East and also Australia and Asia. So in US market, to be honest, the big public hyperscalers, AWS, GCP, and Azure are still leading. But apart from US market, also in Europe, I'm located in Germany. I have a strong relation with the Alibaba team here in Frankfurt. In Middle East, we have a couple of use cases and deals already. And then Indonesia, Malaysia, this region of the world, and even Australia, it's quite popular Alibaba. So it's a really good cloud. We are fully integrated into it. And I think it makes sense. And this is why we have this traction here in Europe as well, because you should not always put all eggs in one basket. And here we have increasing demand in Europe to not only use US American clouds, because all the other hyperscalers are US clouds. So I think it's nice also from this background to have Alibaba Cloud in the portfolio as well. So Hystack is founded 4 years ago. US-based company. Here you see some of our customers: Airbus, Nutanix, Burger King, some name dropping. We did 80,000 migrations in the last 2 years only, because we developed the software 2 years and then we started selling in May 2018. So quite a huge number of migrations done, 80K. So all you can see now, all I'm going to present, it's field proven, it's available and ready to use in scale. Hystack has 2 products, by the way. One is the live cloud migration and disaster recovery, which we are talking about now. It's called Hystack Accura. Then we also have our cloud cost management platform, Hystack OptScale, which could be a nice topic for another webinar, because here we tell you, once you are in Alibaba Cloud or other clouds, how to use it in the most effective way, how to get the cost transparency, and so forth. But let's talk about Accura. Accura is a software which covers 2 main use cases. One is live cloud migration as a fully automated process, and the other one is disaster recovery. Of course, it's also a fully automated process. That's the idea of a real DR or migration solution. It is not just a set of tools or some scripts. It's an automated process, end to end, and this is what you can expect, not more and not less. But still, even in such a fully automated process, there's a demand for some manual work, for some professional services, and this is what we use our partners like VAD and other out of the AlJammaz ecosystem for. Maybe one of the audience could also become a partner, as Saim said, for MSPs, CSPs. It's a great solution because we support Alibaba, but also other platforms. So no matter where your end customer wants to go to, you are covered. Because Hystack was built by purpose for partner business. So we are 100% partner-centric. We are just selling the licenses. We have a partner dashboard, which of course is multi-tenant capable for all your end customers. You can white label it and so forth. Any-to-any, DR and migration. Here you see the platforms. Let me make it bigger now. It doesn't work. Okay. So, come on. Okay. So you see source platforms and target platforms. Actually, all you can see on a target side can also be applied on a source side. This is just because here there is no more space. So here we just want to show some some names: Azure, Oracle, OpenStack, KVM, and bare metal. That's important to understand that Haystack's solution for migration and disaster recovery does not work only for virtual machines. It also supports bare metal, which is physical servers, for migration and for disaster recovery. And the target platforms which we support are the big hyperscalers, 4 of them, the 3 US ones, plus Alibaba, and then a couple of, or all VMware-based, OpenStack-based, KVM-based platforms, no matter if public or private clouds. They are all supported. And of course, you can also migrate from Google to Azure or to Alibaba. So these arrows actually should point into both directions. Everything you can see here, you can see there as well. Because on the source side, it's really simple. We just need to deploy an agent, and that's all. So the use case we're going to talk about now, migration from on-prem or any other cloud to Alibaba, or back from Alibaba on-prem, disaster recovery from on-prem or any other platform to Alibaba, and then back again on-prem is supported. Let's take a look what is good to know about the way we do the migration. So it's a lift and shift, the replication as such. So the software is the same, the solution is the same, the flow, no matter if we do a migration or disaster recovery, because a migration is something like a one-time disaster recovery scenario, to be honest. So just without the failback. It's a one-time business. You are on platform A, you want to go to platform B. So what we do is we replicate data. It's the same like for the disaster recovery. This is why what I'm saying now is not just applying to the migration scenario, but for both. So let's not use the word migration. Let's use the word replication. So we do incremental replication. Means we install agents, and they take a copy, first a full copy of the image, and put it on the target side, and then incremental replication. Then we only take snapshots of the differences between the last and the second, the last and the current snapshot. So it's only about the delta. First, we have to replicate the whole image once, and then only the differences. This is called incremental replication. It's also called lift and shift, because what we do is we lift and shift the whole machine. It's not that we offer disaster recovery. So sorry if you were expecting this for just some single files or applications. We cannot take out of a server where you have several of the different databases, put only one single database and back it up. It's always the whole server, the whole machine as such. Lift and shift. We make a replica of everything which is running on the machine or is even attached to the machine only. All this replication happens in the background. So there's no impact on the performance, on the bandwidth, hardly not at least. No downtime. Your end customer can continue with his business as usual. He doesn't even feel it. It happens in the background. We use WAN optimization, compression techniques, deduplication, throttling, quality of service, whatever is needed. And the minimum bandwidth we need is only 3 megabits per second. How long the replication takes depends on the amount of data and the bandwidth. The more bandwidth, the faster, of course. Agent-based migration. So if you migrate or replicate data in case of disaster recovery failover, and the source is VMware, then good news. We don't even need to install agents. We can use so-called agent-based migration. As said, no downtime, also during the test migrations. And if you run a dry failover test, DR test, which you really should do every 6 months, it's really recommendable. There's no downtime. Everything happens in an isolated environment in the background. You can test as many times as you want. And as mentioned, we also support physical servers. The flow, very simplified. There are several stages. So obviously, before you start migrating or protecting machines, you want to have an overview. What servers do you want to protect or migrate? what can be migrated, are there some limitations due to operation systems or whatsoever. Then you have to recreate the networking path on the target site. So no matter if you do a migration or you protect machines and prepare a failover site on Alibaba, of course, we have to make sure that the parts of the infrastructure like VPNs, firewalls are recreated on the target site on Alibaba, so that in case of a failover, everything can spin up and take over the business. So our software is awesome and not just migrates data or replicates data, also metadata like IP addresses, MAC addresses, subnets, but things like VPNs, firewalls, and other parts of the infrastructure needs to be recreated first. This is done by our partners. This is the professional services which is still needed also when you use Hystax. But then once this is done, then the software does it works. As said, it works. You can run unlimited test migrations and then do the final cutover, which you can only do in a migration scenario, because in a disaster, you don't know when it's going to happen. That's the difference. A migration you can plan, a disaster normally not. So here you see the flow. This is the flow for AWS. Here you see the flow for KVM-based platforms. It was just too boring to copy the same slide again and again, because it's the same flow for Alibaba, the same flow for Google, the same flow for Microsoft. That's the beauty of our solution, that we treat every target cloud as a black box. The solution just needs to have the right APIs to talk to, and then the flow is always the same. So this is also the flow for Alibaba. So how would it work? If you want to do a migration or protect machines with the disaster recovery Haystack solution to Alibaba, you first have to deploy agents on the source side, on-prem, on Amazon, the other platform, cloud, whatsoever. It can be internal or external agent, what I said. So agentless, which means there's just an agent on the infrastructure level, not inside of each server. This is a nice flow, but actually it doesn't really matter. It doesn't make a difference if you talk about internal or external agent. Just wanted to mention it, but the flow is always the same. You have to have agent, external or internal, on the source, which is connected with our software. Our software is running inside your Alibaba account. So you're not connected to Hystax in California or somewhere to our system. We don't use a third-party cloud. It's just a set of Docker containers, our solution. Then it's packed, wrapped into a single virtual machine, which is an instance you're going to deploy in your Alibaba account. That's all. And then the agent automatically connects via HTTPS, of course, encrypted, with the controller, and sends the data over directly to the Alibaba Cloud. There we store it in cloud native format, in volumes. We take snapshots, so different restore points, every minute, every 5 seconds, however you wish it, in the case of disaster recovery. And then we store those snapshots in the volumes in your Alibaba account in Alibaba. So this means the data is already there. If there's a failover, then, and the on-prem is down, the data is already there. You just lose the latest minute or 2 minutes or 10 minutes, depending on your restore point policies, how often you want us to take a snapshot. That's, by the way, the RPO, the recovery point objective, the data you are losing. And so you can, with Hystax, have an RPO and recovery point objective of 5 minutes on Linux and 3 minutes on Linux. 5 minutes on Windows and 3 minutes on Linux. This is the default RPO, which is quite fast, but it can go even faster. So if you take one snapshot directly after another, we call this continuous data replication. One restore point is taken immediately after the other one is finished. Then you can bring it down, the RPO, even to 40 seconds on Windows and only 7 seconds on Linux. So very fast RPO, recovery point objective, with Hystax DR solution. And the RTO, the recovery time objective, is even better, because here we spin up the machines directly from the volumes. And this means our RTO, the recovery time objective, the time it takes until the machines start taking over the business in Alibaba when the on-prem is down, it's just the booting time of the machines. Because Haystack does not use any object storage to store the copies of your data, we store them in volumes. And this means we don't have to waste 1 hour or more to first pull all the data from the object storage. We can boot directly from the volumes. This gives us an RTO of just the booting time of the machines. So in other words, minutes. Of course, depending a little bit on the complexity of the environment, how many machines and how many levels of orchestration you yourself have put in, because of course we support orchestrated launch, which means that we do not boot all the machines at the same time. Would be stupid because there are dependencies among the machines. So probably your IT managers or solution architects would demand a order like, please Haystack first boot the machine with Windows Active Directory. Then as a second machine, the one with the Oracle databases. As a next step, please move the client to those databases. So this is so-called orchestrated launch, that you launch one machine after another with a certain boot delay, maybe in between 60 seconds, 120 seconds, just because of dependencies. If there are no dependencies, we can boot 1,000 machines at the same time, no problem. It's up to you. And this can, of course, delay the RTO, but by default, it's just the booting time of the machines. And also the V2V, the virtual to virtual or physical to virtual transformation is done automatically on the fly during the cutover or failover process. So here you can change IP addresses, you can change disk size, you can change flavors, the CPUs and so forth, because sometimes the CPU on the target side is not the same like on the source side. All these things are already in the disaster recovery plan covered and then automatically executed within seconds and minutes during the failover. This is what you call a disaster recovery solution in comparison to just backing up long-term storage. For all this, you use our UI. You don't have to. It's fully covered with REST APIs, but usually you would log in and use the user interface to download the agent, start a replication, and do the failover. You can fully automate this if you want us to start a disaster recovery process, a failover, immediately when the agent does not send a heartbeat to our controller. We can do this. Then you have maybe a failover every week, because sometimes it's just a technical issue in the data center, human error. So this is why we recommend that someone, a human being, should press the button, yes, let's do the failover, but up to you. You can also configure it that it happens in a fully automated way. Do we have any questions so far? Feel free to write the questions in the chat box, and then we will answer them. But of course, after the presentation, we will have some time for question and answers as well. So again, the flow is quite simple, just deploying agents on the source side. Agent is communicating via HTTPS with our software, which is running inside the Alibaba. You see, you're not connected to Hystack. Hystack is included in the target cloud. And then we replicate data, store them in volumes, and boot in case of failover directly from the volumes. So for disaster recovery, just as a summary, what we do is we offer agentless replication if the source is VMware or OpenStack. It's a full DR automation. What does it mean? It means we do not only talk about fully automated failover, no, also the failback is automated, because that's the second part of the story. It's nice that you have failover to Alibaba in case of on-premise down, cool. But if you don't want to stay for the rest of your life in Alibaba, which you should consider, actually, it's maybe not wrong, but there was the reason why you still use on-prem hybrid cloud. So maybe once the situation on-prem is fixed, whatever was the reason of the disaster, after 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, the on-prem side is up and running again. You want to fail back And then it's nice if this also happens in an automated way. And this is full DR automation, fail over and fail back. And of course, in Haystack's case, it's both automated. We have very good RPOs of minutes or just seconds, and RTO only booting time of the machine, which is unbeatable. The advantage, of course, is that you have no vendor login because we offer cross-cloud disaster recovery. You're not bound to VMware. You can use Alibaba and other clouds on-prem as creative as you want to be. All the options with Hystax, because the truth is, although Hystax as a company is just founded in 2016, our founders, this is the third company, and the second one was a company where they offered disaster recovery as a service directly to end customers for more than 10 years. And because of this experience in the DR field, they added the migration use case on top and now focus just on the software, not offering the service itself, because we want to give this as an opportunity to our partners that they can gain 2 times. First, by reselling the license, adding some percentage, 20-30% margin, and then on top, sell their professional services, which anyhow is the bigger cost block always in the migration or DR deal project. The license fee is just like 25 or 30% maximum. So with our software, you can use disaster recovery as a service, not just to public, also to private clouds, even on-prem installations where we only use customer infrastructure. And of course, backup is included as well, because if you know how to do DR, you also know how to do backup, which is a lot simpler, obviously. So this is actually what I wanted to show you about Hystax. Last slide, some references and names. If someone's interested in some case studies, we can share them. Obviously, most of them are on our homepage as well. Just go to hystax.com. What you can see here, this is why I like this slide, because we have it split in some let's say verticals. So we have a strong presence in telcos, because not everyone, all the most of the DR solutions, like our beloved competitors, Certo, Platespin, they support the public clouds, and not even all of them. Most of the times, just AWS and Azure, but not even GCP, because it's a little bit new and not so huge in the market. So Certo, for example, big competitor, but as far as I know, they don't support not even Google. And we in Hystax is not only supporting all public clouds plus Alibaba or hyperscalers, so the big 4. Also OpenStack, which is quite unique because OpenStack is very specific. And this is why we have a strong presence in telcos, because all these telcos, they have also OpenStack clouds. Then integrators love us because of the single reason that we cover all platforms. So no matter what project, Hystax is always the solution. And then cloud service providers who sometimes sponsor our migration because they want to make money with selling their cloud services and not selling migrations. But they will never sell their cloud services if the customer doesn't know how to migrate into his cloud. And if you leave this to the customer, it might take a while until he does it. And so better they do it using Hystax and sponsor the migration. With cloud vendors, obviously Red Hat, Canonical, OpenStack, we are very married with them because they rely on the few vendors who support OpenStack, and there are just 3 globally as far as I'm concerned. And we do have some end customers, even here from Middle East, from the Emirates. Malakoff, it's a power water company from United Arab Emirates, and we did the successful migration in 2019, and now they're using also our disaster recovery solution, but to an OpenStack cloud, to City Networks actually. So this is now end of my presentation. Now I would love to pass the stage to Bala from Alibaba, who can tell you how you can make benefit of Hystax, how does it fit in the use case for Alibaba, and also about the promotion, obviously. So, Bada, the stage is yours.
Hi, Edwin. Thank you so much for the brief presentation which you have provided to us. And hi, everyone. It's an honor to present today for you all about our joint venture or the solution which we are talking about with Hystax and AlJammaz for doing automated migration and disaster recovery from anywhere to Alibaba Cloud and vice versa as well. So please allow me to share a small presentation showing the main features of Alibaba Cloud before we start talking in a scenario-based, because today I will speak with you from a scenario perspective, especially for our region. So I'll share just 1 minute, please. I hope that you can see my screen. So can anyone just mention that if you can see my screen?
Yes, Vara. Yes, we can see it, Vara. Thank you.
Yeah, you can see my screen. Thank you, Edwin. Okay. So what I'll be talking about is I'll just speak fast about our Alibaba Cloud service portfolio. It's not the full portfolio for sure for Alibaba Cloud. Now we do have more than 200 products and services, matured products and services on the public cloud. I need to talk about the main features of the main portfolio that we do have, like which you can utilize it and use it once you concern or take into consideration taking the whole migration from like from your on-premise or from other clouds to Alibaba Cloud. So starting from the computing level, as we said, the promotion will be added on top of ECS and SLB. So in compute level, we do provide ECS, and ECS, I will take it in depth later in my next slide. As well, we do provide GPU services. We do provide the bare metal services, which is the physical server, as Edwin mentioned. As well, there is an autoscale function, which I will as well speak about it in my slides. We do provide the container services, container registry services. As well, we do have a container Kubernetes, special container services for Kubernetes. For like edge computing, for dedicated cluster, for a different way of managed cluster of Kubernetes. So you do have different ways or different options to use as well. High performance computing, and as well function compute. Function compute is actually the new era or the new way of separating your application into different functions, and each function will be just in a small, tiny compute level. So once the function is called, then the function will be executed. So that will reserve a lot on the computing part and computing level, and it will make your system as agile for upgrades and updates and so on. In network level, we do have the DNS. We do provide DNS, SLB, server load balancer, which I will talk about it. As well, the VPC, it's your virtual private cloud. You can have multiple VPCs within your Alibaba Cloud account. As well, we do provide Express Connect. Express Connect is the MPLS connectivity or fiber optics connectivity direct, the physical connectivity from any place, like from any data center, from on-prem of your side to Alibaba Cloud, directly to your VPC. As well, Elastic Public IP, which it's on a public IP, you can attach it and bind it to an ECS or to SLB or to RDS and unbind it at any time. NAT gateway and a VPN gateway as well. When we talk about storage and CDN services, so we do have the block storage from SSD storage, high performance SSD storage, and ultra disk storage, and so on. Object storage solution, as you all of know that now, the high demand on object storage because it's a flexible and there is no limit of the storage side, and as well for the pricing perspective, it's super efficient compared to the block storage itself, and even it's an object-oriented, it's not a file-oriented system. As well, we do provide the NAS storage, cloud storage gateway to connect your file level or file storage to your object storage, Lighting Cube as an offline model of uploading or moving your data from your on-premise to the cloud, CDN solution, you know, the CDN is a content delivery network and so on. In database, we do have the relational database, the managed database, and different engines from MySQL, Microsoft SQL, Postgres, BBS, and a lot of different database engines, MariaDB, and so on. As well, we do have for caching database like Redis, Memcache, NoSQL data for table store. We have distributed relational database services. We do as well have Analytic DB for if you have some OLAP data, you need to do to run some analysis on that OLAP data. So yeah, we do have Analytic DB to proceed all your OLAP data. MongoDB as well, Hybrid DB for Postgres. And we do have as well some internal tools called DMS and DTS. As well in management and monitoring. So there is RAM, Resource Access Management. If you are familiar with other providers such as AWS, RAM is actually, it's like the IAM from AWS. So you can create different accounts to use your public cloud and management and give each account different privileges and so on. Sorry for that. Yes, and as well, we do have in big data and AI. So in big data and AI as well, we do have Max Compute, EMR solution, DataWorks. DataWorks is, and Max Compute is actually like a BigQuery solution, DataV, QuickBI, Elasticsearch, which is very recommended from the e-commerce communities, as well image recognition, face recognition, image search, and a lot of different solutions, which you can take the benefit from when you're using some big data and AI stuff. And application and middleware services. So you do have a direct mail, API gateway, log services, message queue, and so on, and even domain services. In IoT level and services, we do have a lot of covered of IoT services. In security services as well, if you're looking for WAF, Web Application Firewall, or anti-DDoS, or a security center for your security vulnerability for your infrastructure itself, or you're talking about like you're looking for SSL certificate, DV level, OV level, EV level, all of the levels is covered within Alibaba Cloud. And even we do have a special dedicated security solution for gaming companies, for gaming providers or developers called Game Shield. Now, let me talk about the ECS in general. So Alibaba ECS is the virtual machine which you rent it out from Alibaba Cloud and take it as a reserved instance, or as a subscription model, or as a pay-as-you-go, or even as a spot instance. So we do have a wide range of different ways of billing even for the ECS. So either you go for reserve instance and resources for 1 or 3 years or 5 years even, or even you can go for a monthly subscription or a yearly subscription, or even you can go for a postpaid method, which is charges per hour, per second, and as well the the bill billed by hourly. So that will be a pay-as-you-go model. And we do have another like a gambling model called the spot instance, and I believe everyone aware about the spot instances. So what you have used from the ECS. So you can create an instance, changing the operating system of that instance, and add or release any number of instances at any time to fit your business needs. So you have the flexibility when you're using the ECS. And as well, users can also utilize the snapshots and convert these snapshots from their ECS to custom images. So they can use it and create duplicated instances in no time. Means if you have created, for example, an instance and you did the whole configuration on that instance on OS level, and then you need to create another one, which is identical instance. So you can create take a snapshot of that instance after finishing all the configuration, just convert that snapshot to a custom image, which is all from user interface. There is no command or technical stuff which required to do. It's only click here, take a snapshot, click here, convert it to custom image, then use this custom image in firing or initiating a new duplicated instance with the same configuration that you're looking for. So what's the benefit out of using Alibaba Cloud ECS? You have 4 main benefits. The first is the stability. Second is the security. Third is the elasticity. Fourth is the high quality network. From stability, the first one, so Alibaba Cloud provide you an SLA, availability of SLA is 99.95%. And if we are talking about the data and service reliability, then Alibaba provide you 99.99% as SLA. As well, it support data backup and rollback. That is mean of using snapshot, but this is an image level backup and rollback. In security, you do have for free built in the ECS a basic DDoS protection by default. Means your instances or your network is by default from Alibaba Cloud is secured against any DDoS attack up to a limited of gigabyte of attack. Like for example, some of the regions will be up to 5 gigabit per second of DDoS attack is free protected in the basic DDoS. And some of the region, it will be up to 500 Mbps by default. But there we do have as well the enterprise edition of DDoS. That one is another one, and it separately charges. That one is covered unlimited. How much you need from a DDoS mitigation center, it will serve your needs. As well, you do have a security group rules for protection, for allowing and denying access on specified ports, which will make your life easier. So you can call the security groups as, let's say, the front end firewall layer, which allow the traffic to go through a specific ports or deny that for specific ports. And as well, you can define the endpoint like a specific public IP or a specific private IPs and so on in case if you are using the VPN. Elasticity, so you can seamlessly upgrade your CPU memory within 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes, it's less than 5 minutes. So for example, you have purchased an instance with 2 vCPU and 4 GB of RAM, and later on you have found that it's over utilized the server all the time, and it's the threshold is always reaching 80% and above. Then what you need to do in that case you can just do upgrade. This is one of the solutions. This is the basic solution. You can do upgrade to any different instance. We do have different instance families, so you can upgrade from 2.4, for example, to 4.16, 4 vCPU, 16 GB of RAM, and that is seamlessly. And it doesn't require, and even you can upgrade, if it was on pay-as-you-go, you can upgrade it for 1 hour, then test. If not, then you can return it back to the previous configuration and so on. As well for the bandwidth. So you can upgrade the bandwidth with 0 downtime. So there is no downtime when you do some upgrade to the bandwidth. If you increase or decrease the bandwidth itself, unless if you make the bandwidth 0, then that is another different story. The last one is a high quality network. So you do have a multi-line access to the backbone network from Alibaba Cloud perspective to the different data centers, because Alibaba Cloud has different data centers across different regions, across the whole global. So you will have taken the benefit out of that. As well, optimized routing algorithm based on the BGP links. Now let's talk about the SLB. So what's the SLB? It's a server load balancer from its name. So it's a loading balancing service that distributes traffic into multi-cloud instances. So we do have 2 types of SLB. So we do have the public network SLB, and we do have the private network SLB. What's the mean of public network SLB? That is the SLB node which it has a public IP. So you can point your domain name to the public IP of SLB, not the servers, the backend servers. So in this case, as you see here, so the user request has been forwarded through the DNS to the SLB, the public network SLB, and from the SLB, depends on the algorithm that is used for load balancing the traffic, it will go for these application servers. Then from these application servers, for DB servers or backend servers, for example, you can as well use another private SLB using a private IPs, because the communication within the same VPC will be using the private IPs, the private subnets. So you can use the private network SLBs in order to distribute as well the communication with the backend servers as well. So that is the SLB and what we are talking about. So what's the benefit out of the SLB? You will achieve 3 main points: high availability, lowering the cost, security. High availability, it's up to 99.95 of availability for the service, and this is the SLA committed by Alibaba Cloud. As well, low cost, because it's 60% cheaper compared to with the traditional hardware SLB. When you go for your traditional SLB, it's a network device which you need to install it within your data center. Then you need to set up a server, and you need to maintain the whole traffic way between all of these servers. But in the SLB node, when we talk about the cloud's perspective, the public network SLB, it has a tiny charges with the public traffic charges separately. In the private network SLB, it's a fixed price, and it's a small price as well, which it's not comparable with the traditional hardware SLB. As well, you got a free operation and management investment. So when you have a traditional hardware SLB, then still you need to hire a network team and as well infrastructure team to maintain your hardware stuff inside your in-house on-premise data center. But here, will be taken care from Alibaba Cloud perspective or Alibaba Cloud team. The security as well, as I told you, all the cloud products has been integrated with Alibaba Cloud Anti-DDoS basic version to provide anti-DDoS feature. The last thing that I need to highlight for our today's session is, or for, sorry, not today's session, for my presentation, is the auto-scale function. So, why I need to highlight that? It's not within the promotion, but because the SLB and ECS, if you need to have it a fully automized system, then the auto-scale function is very important in that case. So what is the auto-scale function? Auto-scaling is a management service that allows users to automatically adjust the elastic computing resources according to the business needs and policies that they define. And that is, what's the meaning of that? Like, we do have a multiple modes. So we have elastic scaling up or scaling down or self-healing. So from this architecture over here, for example, this is the policy has been assigned is a CPU threshold. If the CPU load average has been exceed 80% in the servers that we do have, okay? So, sorry, we do have here a set of 3 servers. So what we will do, the cloud monitor that is the threshold has been reached. Then it will send that threshold for the auto-scaling. The auto-scale function will add another 2 instances, for example, depending on the policy. So you can have all the load is always normal. So you will avoid, for example, when you are an e-commerce company or a company which has irregular traffic, sometimes you will have a high demand traffic. It's unexpected traffic. So always when you use this method, it will help you that your environment will be up and running all the time. As well, the CPU load average, in this case, if it was less than 30%. So again, you can apply for scale down and removing the instances. Self-healing, if there is one unhealthy instance has been detected within this scaling group, then automatically the system will remove that one and add another one based on the configuration has been set up previously. And this auto-scale function is for free. Only the charges is for the resources being added and utilized for the time period that has been added, because it will be on a pay-as-you-go model. So this is so far was what I need to share about Alibaba Cloud products and services. So I'll be stop the sharing again from here, and I'll return back to you guys. So now we'll talk in scenario-based. So what is the scenario-based that we will highlight it for our today's session? For example, let's take, hi, Zaim.
Hi.
Yeah. So for the scenario-based that I would like to highlight, for example, let's take the financial sector or the governmental sector within the GCC region. Always they will require from, what's their requirements always, like the data center to be, or the data to remain within the country. As well, they ask about at least having 2 different availability zones. But as you know, like for example, Alibaba Cloud in Dubai, only in Dubai, they have only 1 availability zone. It's not more than 1. So in that case, Hystax will come to help to make a hybrid model or either a DR solution for these customers from both sides. Like if the customer production environment or main environment was hosted on Alibaba Cloud, then they can use Haystack to do the whole automation of DR solution on on-prem or any other cloud provider. Especially they will request for on-prem. And as well, if their main production environment is on-prem, they can use Haystack to use Alibaba Cloud as a DR site as well. So both sides can be supported. So this is the benefit out of Haystack. As well, when we say about the data should remain within the country, as Edwin mentioned within his presentation, this Haystack solution is not jump server, which will take your data out of the country to Haystack outside server, then return it back. No, it's actually a fully container-based solution, which is deployed on ECS within your environment, within your VPC. That is so secure, because it's only deployed within your VPC. It's not even on other VPC on Alibaba Cloud. So that will help and maintain that the whole data migration and data traffic and data flow remains within your environment itself. So that will comply with the compliance of either the financial sector or with the governmental sector. As well, we do have nowadays many different requirements from here and there about the migrations from other cloud providers to Alibaba, or from Alibaba to other cloud provider, or even from on-prem to Alibaba Cloud. So Haystack, that it will help to do the whole migration stuff seamlessly. For sure, we cannot say everything has been set it up using only one solution, because still, as Edwin mentioned as well, the network side should be as a professional service through the partners, our partners. So our partners still can provide you some professional services, or even if you have in-house team, technical team, who has the capability to create the VPC, create the IVs, the V routers, the V switches, and so on, that will be enough to complete the whole process. Then a Haystack solution will come to do the migration. And let me give you another scenario, actually. So if we do have a website, a live website, which we need to migrate it from on-prem to Alibaba Cloud and make it on Alibaba Cloud as a high available environment or high available website. So in that case, the application level can be migrated offline, which means the application server itself, because it has the front end only. But when we talk about the back end or the database, which it contains the data, the actual data, or the data has been written on the cloud, on the servers, that is always changeable. So in that case, we will require some online migration. So in online migration, always you need a special tool to help you to do this online migration and maintain the whole change and replication, data replication between the source point or the old point on-premise and as well the new point on the cloud services like Alibaba, if you are hosting on Alibaba. So in that case, Hystax will be there to help you to maintain the whole process of the online migration seamlessly. And as well, you will never care about that the migration is down or something happened or interrupted, because the solution will support as well if you have been stopped in a point to continue again and so on. So everything will be covered. And this is so far from my side. And hi, yes, Edwin, if you have, I would like to.
Yes, I just want to say, you're right. So they are never lost alone. So they have full support. In the license fee, the support is fully covered, and we have partners. So if we talk to an end customer, they shouldn't worry. If we talk to partners, so the partners who are now in the audience, they should know that they can always get full support for us, including a license fee. And for the end customers, let me tell you that we work with the best partners in the region. As you can imagine, if you talk with your partner with AlJammaz, they have a couple of partners as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
So don't worry, they are from the region, in your time zone, from your culture. So the support is done by local partners, and we have the best you can get in the market.
Sure. So thank you so much, Edwin, for that information as well. So this is so far was from my side. And now let's head to the question time. And as well about the promotion, as Zaim mentioned, is a 20% off on top of Alibaba Cloud if you use Hystax to migrate. As well, Hystax, you will have 25% off on the license fees. So Zaim, the mic is with you. I'm hitting the mic to you back. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much, everyone. So we, as Badr explained, and as Edwin went through with a lot of detail, and how easy it is to now migrate, lift and shift your workload from any environment, from any platform, to any source destination, from any source destination to any target destination. It's very easy to use and easy to operate. Talk to our team to get a demo, and we can set up a demo for you and discuss. There's a special promotion which we are running for any order that is placed with Haystack to migrate the workload into Alibaba Cloud. You get 25% discount on top of the standard margin discount that you have as a partner. So talk to our team to avail this offer, and we will be happy to assist you with it. I'm absolutely open for any questions from anyone who is right now on the call with us to answer. That'll be great.
Hi, Zaim. So I believe in the question part, we do have a couple of questions. So we do have one question from Steva, one question from Amir, one question as well. No, yeah, Edwin, he already answered the question of Steva. And Amir, he added now how we do calculate time to migrate data. So that Amir, based on the type of data, like there is a different criteria when we need to do the calculation. It depends in different ways.
Yeah. And the most important thing is that what takes most time is the replication of the data. But as I said, this happens in the background. So even if it takes 1 year, if the time is there, who cares? For the cutover, this is what counts. What is the downtime? But for the replication, there's obviously no downtime, so it's not so urgent. But there's a calculator. We can send it for people who are interested because it's pure mathematics. It only depends on the bandwidth and on the data volume. So if you have, for example, 5 terabytes and 10 megabits per second, it will take 1 week. And if you have double terabytes, not 5 but 10, it will take automatically with the same bandwidth 2 weeks. But if then you add 100% increase the bandwidth, then you have again cut it by half. So then it's back to 1 week. So it's all mathematics. It's really the bandwidth in relation to the data. And this we have a calculator where you can see how long it takes, because sometimes people underestimate that it can take weeks to replicate a big machine if you only have minimum bandwidth. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, Edwin, for the explanation as well. And Amr, he has another question about how does the fallback work? Is it automated with Haystack?
Yeah, like in the answer to Sveta already, It is automated, but it's not always. That's the point. It depends. The answer, it depends. So if the source where you want to fail back is, for example, OpenStack, VMware, a couple of platforms, there we support this so-called automated failback. They really just have to install specific failback agents, and then immediately you can do failback in minutes. But if this is not a supported platform for this automated failback agents, then we have to do something we call a reverse migration. Then the former source becomes the target, and you need to install a replication agent on Alibaba, for example, and then do the whole process of replicating data, first a full copy, and then incrementals, vice versa. And if, as said, this fits to the question with the replication time, if it's big data which we have to replicate, the copy will maybe take 1 day to take it, or 2 days, and this would be a downtime. And downtime of 2 days is maybe an issue for a lot of people. But on the other hand, it's failback. Failback is not so important as failover. So it really depends on a platform. We do have automated failback, but it depends on a platform.
Sure.
Great. Perfect. So, I think that's very good. Thank you very much, Edwin, and thank you very much, Badr, for the time.
Yes, welcome.
It was a very interactive session for the partners who joined. It's really good. And for the rest of them, I believe that we will make the video recording available for them to have a recap. And for any questions, we will continue to answer, and we'll have further sessions as well like this. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.